I'm not sure if you guys have seen this, but we're looking at an off rate of almost 200 people in just 2 weeks. We've experienced a pandemic, right? So we're all wondering what's coming down the pipe next. It could be this. I'm going to tell you about it because, like I said, almost 200 people in 2 weeks haven't made it. And I'm going to tell you why possibly it could get worse in the US. Coming right up. My name is Cohen here at Riverside Homestead, and if you're brand new here, welcome. If you guys are into prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and most of all, news and awareness, stuff that you want to know about, be sure to hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. All right, guys, thanks a lot for giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you share this if you find value or find this informative so we can keep people informed. As what I'm seeing and a lot of buzz out there is that folks are saying that this could be the next thing. Some people are calling it disease X, but what has happened is upwards of almost 200 people haven't made it in just the last 2 weeks in a very small area. Some people already talking about it's already here, and why? Well, it's coming across. Well, while you think that we have a problem down at the border with one thing, it might be another. And I'm gonna give you some pertinent information on that. But let's talk about the issue. This stuff hot on the press, breaking news. Most of these articles are fresh from just last night. And the other big thing is they're talking about trying to figure out, you think that they know exactly what it is? No, they're trying to find that out this weekend. So let's get you guys some more information, because I know we're all wanting to know what's the next big thing that's going to happen that's going to wipe out a lot of good people, and what can we be ready for. Let me show you this really quick clip. They do a good job at explaining what's going on. Now remember, this is CNN, so you gotta take it with a grain of salt, but it's good to know what they're spinning, right? They're saying disease X, mysterious flu-like illness kills 143 in Congo in just 2 weeks. Now again, hang tight, because I'm gonna tell you why this is going to possibly affect us, if it already hasn't. Again, they don't even know if this is what it is after hearing what this doctor has to say and his perspective. So again, this is a quick little clip that gives you a lot of good information here, and coming from CNN News. And FYI, Fox News, everyone else is saying this, all the same stuff. This just has a clip with a doctor giving his narrative.
A mysterious illness in the Democratic Republic of Congo has killed as many as 143 people within just a 2-week period.
Yeah, local health officials and the World Health Organization are racing to identify the source.
So this has taken out almost 200 people in just the last 2 weeks. And the WHO and health officials are racing to not know what it is to try to figure out what it is.
Let's talk about this now with Dr. Michael Osterholm. He is the director of the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota. Doctor, symptoms here include fever, headache, cough, anemia.
So with this reaction video to the news, have you guys experienced any of those symptoms? Fever, headache, cough, anemia kind of seems like the staples for just about any illness, right? Keep that in mind, because I know a lot of folks that are under the weather right now, and this stuff does not go away. Let me know down in the comments right now how many people you know that are under the weather at the moment. Do you guys feel like it's a cold or flu, or do you feel like it's something crazy that takes way too long to go away, and you feel like it's not going to go away unless you take something that basically kills off everything in your system to get rid of it? I know a lot of folks under the weather.
Well, first of all, I think there's been a rush to judgment that this is somewhat of a mystery disease, and while in fact we don't yet know what's causing it, it's not been because we tried looking for it and found that there was no answer. It's because the lab tests that really needed to be done just weren't done. This was in a remote part of the DRC, and while cases started in late October, we're just now getting the first lab tested completed. So I suspect actually within the next 24 to 72 hours, we probably will know what's causing this situation.
But those symptoms that we just listed, normally, doctor, they're not fatal. So why do you suspect they are with this illness?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that a number of the cases are in children. And we know that in this area of the DRC, malnutrition is a real problem in young children. So the anemia issue that you raise may have nothing to do with the overall underlying condition.
Now let me pause it right there. Do you think that that's the reason why younger ones and older ones are getting this stuff, or are more prone to get this stuff than others? Is it malnutrition? Because I've always thought that younger ones have and can bounce back back from stuff quicker than we can. They can fight this stuff off pretty quick. And as far as the Congo area, could it be malnutrition? Or, I've heard a lot of skepticism regarding old Billy G and his playground over there. Like, when you're telling the whole world that you need to minimize the population, and then you've got workshops and places of business in an area where we have mystery stuff happening all the time, just thinking out loud, tell me what you guys think. Tell me if I'm crazy.
Of the what's causing the outbreak. In terms of the respiratory-like symptoms that you just mentioned, which sounds like early influenza, it sounds like it could be any number of respiratory illnesses, and I suspect that when the final numbers come in, they're not going to be quite the same we've heard. I've actually have numbers that range from 29 to 179 deaths all since October. So there are now the right health officials on the ground. We're going to know what the real numbers are. We're going to know, is this in fact one single disease, or is it a series of respiratory viruses that may be causing the problem? And again, I come back and just remind us all, I think once we get the lab tests completed this weekend, we're going to know what's causing it.
Yeah, it's a vulnerable population, as you say. There are vulnerable populations in many parts of the world. So why is this really sparking so much interest?
Well, I think coming off the pandemic, there's a heightened sensitivity to any kind of serious illness that might be occurring in the community. We're seeing it right here in the United States as it relates to avian influenza and H5N1. In this part of the world, we're concerned that if we don't find out quickly what's causing it, could it continue to spread, much like Mpox did 2 years ago, and it continues to spread. And so there was really, I think, a lot of attention paid to this one once it was finally recognized. Remember, this is in a remote area of the DRC. The public health authorities have limited numbers of people working in that area. And so this kind of went on for some time. One piece of information I think that is important for people to understand, if you look at the cases back to early November, late October, you'll see that there hasn't been a big increase in number of cases per week. In other words, it's roughly been about the same number week after week. So there's no evidence that this is explosive or that it's quickly growing in numbers, which is also, again, another reassuring point of information.
Okay, I'm not sure you caught that, but they're not seeing an increased number. Does that mean the folks that aren't making it is equating to almost 200 every 2 weeks? 400 a month? Just saying, that don't sound good. Now, why should we be worried about what's happening over there in the DRC here in the US? Well, we've got a big thing happening down south. Right behind me, I have a whole bunch of photos of what would equate to hundreds of thousands of people from that area. Now, I'm not sure if you saw this. This is an article that I had read. African migration to the US soars as Europe cracks down. Now, did you know that Europe was cracking down on migration? Well, guess what? They got a free pass if they come down through the south and on up. It says thousands of people from African nations are flying to Central America and then traveling overland to Mexico onto the southern border. You guys already know they're not getting screened. We've seen news on that. So that means tons of folks just floating right in to the US. And could they be bringing this supposed disease X, whatever that means? We don't even know what it means yet. But we know it's often people in small rural communities by 200 every couple weeks. In the caption underneath this video says Lukeville, a border city in Arizona, is among the crossing where migrants from Africa, like these men from Mauritania, said that wrong, have been entering the United States along with many thousands of other migrants. Right here in this quote from this person that crossed, getting into the United States is certain compared to European countries. And so I came. So like I said, shutting it down over there in Europe, well, guess what? They got a free pass as long as they can get to South America or Mexico. This is coming from a guy named Kita, 30 years old, who was at a migrant center in San Diego on a recent afternoon after the odyssey that took him by plane to Turkey, Colombia. After an odyssey that took him by plane from Turkey, Colombia, El Salvador, and then Nicaragua, then by land to Mexico-US border. So how many flights did that guy get? Crazy. Here's another article from AP News. It says Mexico saw a huge increase in migrants from Africa and Venezuela in 2023, authorities said. Now, why are we talking about 2023? Well, we know that the numbers are crazy astronomical higher than what they were in 2023. And they're saying that Africa and Venezuela topped the charts in many different articles. And in this photo right here, it says asylum seeker migrants wait to be processed at the makeshift mountainous campsite after crossing the border with Mexico Friday, February 2nd, 2024, near Yacumba Hot Springs, California. And so, like I said, this gives us an idea. Mexico City AP News, Mexican authorities say they saw a huge increase in the number of migrants from Africa and Venezuela entering the country in 2023. Those migrants generally enter Mexico from Central America and across the country in a bid to reach the U.S. border. It's saying that Mexico Interior Department said year-end figures showed that 9 times more migrants from Africa entered Mexico in a 2023, with numbers rising from 6,672 in 2022 to about 60,000 in 2023. Now, let me remind you, these are the people that are recorded. You know they're not all getting recorded. And the fact that 2023 went from around 7,000 to 60,000, can you imagine what 2024 was? We already know that tens of millions, so the number could be astronomical. And if folks over there are carrying some weird mystery disease, like Disease X, which they don't even know what that is yet, but it has an off rate pretty darn high. It also says smugglers are moving migrants more quickly through the dangerous route, which the year previous was they traversed over 500,000 migrants through this specific Darien Gap. Moral of the story is we're seeing articles like this. We know folks from there are getting here in higher numbers than we've ever seen before. So is the chance that is whatever's happening over there, which sounds like the same stuff that we see here, and the fact that they don't even know what it is, and we got tons of people getting ill left and right now. Could you picture this turning into something? I definitely can. But like always, I hope not. Anyway, thought this was noteworthy for you guys to know that this is happening. Almost 200 people every 2 weeks. Them not knowing even what this is does not sound good. The same folks pouring into the US, also not good. Again, thanks for the like. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. Share this out if you found this informative. Don't forget to hit the notification bell if you guys like staying up to date. I got a lot more coming down the pipe. Watch these 2 videos if you missed them, and keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing. We'll see you on the next one.